Welcome to the third episode of the Outside Our Walls podcast. I have with me someone that's been, I think, a recent friend, but I would count him as a friend. Acquaintance maybe would be better, but we're brothers in the Lord, and I find that to be a joy. So this is Joel Barnes. Joel is a artist, musical artist, a songwriter. He's working on his own album. He's also performed with Maverick City Music, and I wanted you all to get to know him a little bit. So Joel, welcome to the podcast. Thanks for being here, man.
Thank you for having me. Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
It's good to have you, man. You're coming to us at this point from Kentucky, but you live in Atlanta.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and that's where Maverick City is headquartered, right? Is it Atlanta?
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about yourself, man. How old are you? Where are you from? How'd you get into singing? Did you grow up singing? Is that new? How do you think about that stuff?
I'm 25. I'm born and raised in Kentucky, man. Hopkinsville, Kentucky. I'm born and raised and bred, man. True and true, like through and through, man. Been singing all my life. I think like since high chair days. Like I've been humming the Barney melody since I was a baby, but I couldn't talk too much. Always been a fan of music, always been in love with music. All different styles, all different genres. My mom like carried me to church from birth until now. Like every time I'm in town, she's always trying to make sure I'm going to church somewhere. So yeah, man. Love basketball, love music, love the Lord. That's pretty much it.
Did you watch the Last Chance documentary? Did you watch the Jordan documentary?
Oh man. Yeah, I've been watching it like piece by piece. I have to take it in small doses because it's a lot.
Yeah,
but it's good.
It's a lot.
The Last Dance is amazing.
Yeah. Michael Jordan was pretty good. He was a decent basketball player. So, so how long have you been writing songs? I was just telling you a second ago that I saw something you were performed on or wrote in 2016. Is that probably where you got into actually writing for people and thinking through songwriting, or was it long before that?
I wrote my first song at 16, and it wasn't any good, but I definitely I think like my first introduction to songwriting was like a lot of like long car rides between like here in Kentucky and Atlanta. My brother would take me to a lot of his studio sessions in Atlanta. So he would drive, and while we were driving, he would ask me about song lyrics and ask me about different things and like what sounds better, what feels better. So I think that was my introduction to songwriting. But I sat down and wrote my first song at 16. But I'd been like figuring out like songwriting like here and there between like 16 and 18, like writing for myself or like just writing with my brother and all of that. But I got into writing for other people, in about like 2015, 2016, while we were like thinking through Dante's first album.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And Dante has performed on a couple Maverick City albums too, right? So if people are listening to Mav City, they'll know him. Yeah. And one of his tunes that he sang on is so good, man. What's the name of it?
Real Thing? Take Me
what's
Back.
Take Me Back, man. That song is so good. I was driving somewhere not too long ago listening to it and just pondering the realities of that tune. Just such an honest song. Love it. And his voice is killer too. His voice is so good.
Yeah,
when we were at the songwriting camp. If everybody doesn't know, I was at a songwriting camp with Maverick City group of people a few weeks ago, maybe a month ago. And dude, I mean, I don't think I have a great voice, but dude, I was by far the worst singer of everybody I heard sing. It was just everybody can sing. Like everybody on that group can sing, bro. Like it's really good. Dude, this is so good.
It's amazing being surrounded by creatives.
Yeah, man. And I feel like even musically, the people that I was listening to play their instruments. Even when you listen to the Maverick City arrangements, they're just so tastefully done. So much space, so many hooks. It's just really well done. Who arranges all that stuff? Is that Tony? Who's doing a lot of that?
A lot of the arrangements are actually like done with like the musicians, like they talk about the stuff. Like Tony just gives musicians free will to like figure it out. And Aaron plays keys, so Aaron Moses plays keys, so he does a lot of the arrangement. Tim Reddick Chandler, like a lot of the Maverick City people are really involved, and especially when the songs that they're singing. So any of the people that are like singing songs on the Mav album, if they're a musician, they're really involved, and they're like,
Okay.
hey, let's do this. Hey, I was feeling this, and we arrange and we finish the lyrics and stuff up until the point that we record it. So like no song is done until it's recorded in our
Until
eyes.
it's
So like
done.
we literally change stuff about promises until the very like
Last minute.
time that we record in the last minute. So, but that's just how we do all of our songs. Like
That's the best songwriters, man. Best songwriters are never content until it's printed. So,
mm-hmm.
yeah, I've written a couple songs, and I think the best one took me about 10 months to get the lyrics right. And it was co-written, but it's just, man, you just work
Mm-hmm.
to try and finish it.
Sounds
What's the
better.
connection? What's the connection between what's Tony's last name?
Brown.
Yeah, Tony Brown. What's his connection? Is there a connection there to Bethel, or is it connection to House
So
Fires? What's the connection?
Tony and Nate are part of House Fires.
Yeah.
They are part of House Fires. Tony, Nate, and Kirby and them, they are part of House Fires. I think Bethel signed Maverick City as a company under them. So like
Okay.
Maverick City is signed to Bethel as a company.
Got
Yeah.
it. And is that where tribals? Because the tribal is a
Yeah.
it's a
I think Tribe was a partner of Maverick City as well. Yeah.
okay, cool. Yeah, it's hard to find them all together because they're all linked in so
Mm-hmm.
many different ways.
Mm-hmm.
Let me talk to you about Promises. So Promises is a song that you co-wrote, right? And you
Mm-hmm.
sang on for Maverick City. And I'm just going
Yeah.
to tell you, if just to everybody listening, if you haven't listened to Promises, go on YouTube. There's over 3 million views as of today, which is incredible, bro.
Freaking
Like that's
crazy.
incredible. Yeah,
It's
it's
crazy.
incredible, man. Like I just think it's really, really, really well done. But such a good song. And I've heard from a number of people just as they're listening to it, even in this season of uncertainty, how helpful it is for them and how helpful it just to even ponder some of the truths in that. Tell me a little bit about as you thought about that song Promises. And if you haven't heard it, if you're listening to this podcast, just pause the podcast, especially if you're listening on Spotify, easy to jump over, take a listen to Promises from Maverick City Music. And you'll hear Joel singing on it. Do a
Oh
great
my
job, by
God.
the way. Great voice
I
on that.
appreciate it, man.
But tell me about just how that song came about, how why you decided to write it, what it was about, just even that idea of the faithfulness of God to just what was it about that prompted you to write that tune?
Um, so I think that like when I came to the camp, the idea of like wanting to like chase it, and then I sat down with like Carrington and then and Kayla. Like my perspective at the time was like, God, I'm just so ready to see the promises that you've made me. I think we all have like prophecies and promises and things that God has spoken to us and has given us and entrusted us with. And a lot of times we expect to walk outside the day after the promise is given to us, and there's a fully grown tree of promise, and that's just not how things work. Like it comes with seasons with the Lord, and I think that I was really becoming discouraged in that season of my life. Like God, I'm not seeing anything, and then God just was looking at me like, you can't allow what you see in front of you to cause you to doubt what I said to you. So I decided when we talked about it, we just decided to write a song that would encourage us or like keep us. And I mean, a song that we would want to hear in this season, and a song that we would want to like hold, like would carry us over or hold us in the times that we do get weary, in the times that we do get like restless or impatient in the waiting. And the best way to even do that is to remember that God is faithful. He's been faithful. He's never like ever failed us once. Those storms come, winds blow, like waves of life come crashing down. Like I want to be anchored in the fact that you are good and you're gonna remain good through the ages. So,
Yeah.
and there's not one word that comes from God's mouth that doesn't have the ability to work itself out in the moment that it's spoken. So, we just decided to sit down and like write a song that would carry us over.
That's good. Yeah, your first thing you sing in the whole tune, as you haven't even started the song yet, but you just sing "Faithful Through the Ages," and I think that sets up the song so well. In the as you're just even as a listener, you go, okay, "Faithful Through the Ages," and then you walk through that talking about Abraham, you know, God of Abraham, and you walk through it.
Mm-hmm.
And just even, I mean, it's similar. Do you guys pull, you know, pull some ideas from other tunes? Like but we all, you know, the best songs are some of the ones that you listen to. But like, I think when I listen to that, sometimes I'm like, man, this is another tune similar to like Great Is Your Faithfulness. You know, the sun
Mm-hmm.
rises, you know, all those
Mm-hmm.
like seasons come and go. It never changes.
Mm-hmm.
How do you write songs like that? I mean, are you thinking, yeah, that's a great song, I'm gonna pull some of, you know, just some of the categories, or is it just, was that just off your head? How are you thinking through those things as you're writing?
I think that like, when it comes to like songwriting, I think for the most of us, we try to be students of our craft, and I think like you have to like kind of, in a sense, build a well. Like yeah, you build a well with just different content, like songs you listen to, scriptures that you read, like revelations that you discover with the Lord. Like a lot of that stuff like goes into building a well. And I think in the moments of writing or creating or spontaneous worship or prophetic worship, like as you're in tune with the Spirit and you're listening for the whisper, there are things that you draw from the well, and what comes out of the well is what comes out. So I think in that moment we was just drawing from the well, and that's what came out. And I think the faithful through the ages thing for me, it puts this almost ancient stamp on it. Like this is something that was before me, and this is something that's gonna outlive me. Like you're faithful. You were faithful before I was ever thought of or imagined on the earth, and you're gonna be faithful even long after I'm gone. You were faithful with my ancestors, with the people that came before me, and you'll be faithful with my grandchildren and my great grandchildren. Like it's going to continue on. So I think that's why I was so like bent on saying like and making sure that we emphasize that he's faithful through the ages.
That's good, man. Well, I think it comes through. I think you did a really good job with it. Thanks for writing that song. And I'm sure that there's other
And I
songs too
appreciate it.
that did you write other songs on that album? Or was that the main one that you
Um,
kind of contributed to?
on part two that's coming out whenever, there's a song called "Be Praised" that I wrote.
Okay, cool. I'm looking forward
Mm-hmm.
to it. I am looking
Yeah,
forward to
man.
it. It
Yeah,
was fun
man.
for me being a part of, I just wanted to try and, you know, I've written songs with certain groups of people in the past, and whether I'm, you know, playing in bands when I was younger or with, you know, worship albums or whatever, but man, I really benefited from Maverick City. Part of it is there's a community there that's just great. I mean,
Oh
Maverick
yeah.
City's got a great community of people. Seems like everybody really cares about each other, and it's just been fun. It was fun to see. It was fun to be around. So I'm hopefully I
Oh
can do it
yeah.
again. Hopefully I have
Oh, for
time to
sure.
jump in and do it again. I want to make sure I do that. So hopefully I can do
Yeah, for
that soon.
sure. I wish this COVID thing would lift so that you guys can come and see it in person, man. It's electrifying. It's inspiring. It's encouraging. It's uplifting, man. It's unmatched. Like the
Yeah.
culture, what like being like letting God breathe on the moments. Like it's really special.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that actually leads me to another song, because I would love to be a part of it. And I don't know how much of the recording I know is separate, but just even getting together with everybody, I'm assuming there's some of the worship times together where else you guys are singing songs or doing song shares, songs that you've
Hmm.
written or whatever, everybody's singing. But, you know, one of the things that I think can be at least different for people with Maverick City albums is the length of song. I mean,
Oh
almost
yeah.
just famously, if it's not 10 minutes, then something's wrong. Like that's kind of the way that it
Hmm.
seems like,
Yeah,
which
lengthy.
is, it took me a little bit to get, but I love it now that I'm like, man, there's a vibe that is just great. What is it? I mean, as you thought through that process and you've written songs, um, how much of that time space, I mean, you have the song itself, how much of that is spontaneous, how much of that is planned in terms of the song length, some of the singing later on, is that done intentionally? Is that a cultural dynamic? Is that more just because everybody's wanting it to be more of an experience, with songs like we want it to be a worship experience, and so we're
Hmm.
playing off of each other? Just give me some insight into that. What's happening with the arrangements on the albums?
I think that we of course like for me like what I was taught by my mentors and my leaders in worship, and honestly, and it's interesting because it's just become the culture of Mav City. Like we honestly have a structure, but then we give God room to move. Like he can totally wreck our structure, or it can look different. So like we can go through the song like verse chorus bridge chorus chorus chorus, but we give God room to move, and we kind of honestly listen for the whisper. And sometimes we like flutter, or we just take our time like to just have moments. But the moments that you guys see that's 10 minutes is really from like a 20 to 30-minute moment. We condense it down to the 10-minute spot. Like it's really like 20 to 30 minutes because we give God room to move, and we just go for it. It's like it's just the fact that we're going for broke. We are all one audit. We are all one worship team. Everybody, not just people behind the mic, but everybody in the room. We're all one worship team, leading worship to the audience of one, which is God alone. And we just so happen to turn the cameras on and like let people see into the room or into the space that we're just going after. That's just, I think that's just the culture of Maverick City. Like we just want to go after God with everything that we got. So I think that's why I think it gets super lengthy, because sometimes we don't want to let moments go. It's just like this thing is getting good. We get to sing songs and lead worship to the audience of one, and he's worthy of every last bit of it.
That's good. Yeah, I think that's something that we can learn, because I think that there's something about waiting and sitting in music. I think one of the things that there's like different sides to musical ideologies. I think some are like the old hymns, that
Mm-hmm.
are four stanzas, and you just fly through them. No repetition, no waiting, really hardly any musical space. That's not right. That's not right or wrong. That was just a way to do it. And then there's another
Mm-hmm.
side that would say, hey, just wait. And a lot of repetition's good. Like you can repeat things over and over again, and just
Mm-hmm.
almost in a way to just remind yourself of what's true in
Mm-hmm.
repetition. So one is remind yourself of what's true, and almost, I think about some old hymns that are like, which is more my background where I grew up, but where it's like,
Mm-hmm.
we want to rehearse in the song the gospel from beginning to end in every song. So you're like, all right,
Mm-hmm.
we're going to go from sin to redemption to consummation in every single song, which again isn't right or wrong. And then you have Mav City that's true, and then let's just sit and wait and linger and maybe repeat and listen to the leader, whoever's leading it, and follow their lead, which isn't
Mm-hmm.
right or wrong. I think we can make it right or wrong though, which is a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think that we can take those and make those as being it's like a moral issue. Like if you
Yeah.
repeat too many songs, like I've talked to so many people, they're like, repetition's bad. Like if I'm repeating songs, then we're not actually singing anything. Or the other way, if we're singing lots of truth and other things. How do you think about that? Like because I love that it's so unique. How do you think about that in music? What's your thinking on those kinds of things?
I mean, I think that, of course it has to be biblically sound and theologically sound, but I think that there's no right or wrong way of doing it. I think you just have to follow the wind. One thing that I've learned in the worship leading and in any of those settings is I follow the wind. If the wind's not blowing, then I'm not moving, and I'll wait. But wherever the wind is blowing, wherever like the river is flowing, I follow that direction. I don't kick against it, or I don't try to like force anything to happen. I just let God go where he wants to go, because he knows where he wants to go. Like he knows what he wants to hear. So wherever, like whatever moment he's breathing on, we're going to stay there until the wind blows another direction. There is no right or wrong in this thing, like, because God's presence is not that fragile. It's just not. Like, it's just not that fragile. So like I think that we just have to like listen for the whisper, follow the wind. And I say flutter because the eagles flutter when they're like waiting on the wind. They sit there and they flutter and they wait until the wind can, because they don't, you really ever see your eagle flap its wings like that. It literally like follows the current, it follows the wind. While the like smaller birds like robins, they flap and flap and flap and flap because they're trying to like. But in this thing, we're just gonna like wait on the wind and then soar wherever the wind is taking us. So
Yeah, that's good,
honestly,
man.
that's what I think.
That's good. Yeah. Yeah. I think as we sing songs, like we want to start with truth, and then
Mm-hmm.
truth leads us into deeper truth or deeper understandings, and we can just express emotions to the Lord as we go forward. I think that's good.
Yeah.
What one of the things that Maverick City said on their website is Maverick City started with a dream to make space for folk that would otherwise live in their own separate worlds, to break the unspoken rules that exist in the Christian music industry and gospel world. But I think more importantly, to be a megaphone for a community of creatives that have been pushed to the margins of the industry of church music. I think that's good. That's a very clear direction for Maverick City music.
Mm-hmm.
Um, what has Maverick City Music meant to you? Like, as you've thought about it and gotten involved with them, do you find that it's just a space for creatives that love Jesus to just express that? Like, how have you thought about Maverick City?
Absolutely. I think it's a space for creatives to like really like just love Jesus together in a safe community, in a space where people understand. They don't like, you know what I mean? Like they're, but beyond like denominational barriers, beyond background, beyond like different um like belief systems or different theologies, beyond like just all of the things that would normally separate us. Like it's a space that is free. It is a space that is like welcome to anyone that wants to love God, and regardless of like where you come from. It's just we're gonna get in here, we're gonna go after the same Jesus. And I love that environment. There's no egos, there's no things that would normally try to separate us. Well, you guys don't believe this, so I'm just trying to separate. It's just like it's more so like, no, we all love the same Jesus. It doesn't make a difference where we come from.
Yeah, that's
We're
good.
just gonna
And
go
I've,
after it.
which creates a sense of diversity, both probably in beliefs. I mean,
Hmm.
everybody's Orthodox, but
Hmm.
within
Yeah.
belief, and also within cultures and backgrounds and songwriting styles.
Yeah.
There is a diversity in Mav City that I
Oh
think
yeah,
comes
absolutely.
through. What is that? How do you think about that? Like, from a musical perspective, how has that helped just to shape even the music, like in the diversity of the
Oh
group
man.
of writers?
I mean, as on the practical end of things, of like just like the diversity helping the music, I think that all different styles of music should be celebrated and not separate. I think like all of the different things like add different like this like almost like a big pot of gumbo. Like it's all different things, but as you put them together, it makes this amazing new like feel, this new like taste, this new sound, and it's really beautiful because like I come from a place where it's just like straight Pentecostal gospel, but then someone else comes from a place where it's very Baptist, or someone else comes from like Methodist or whatever. Like we come from the different styles and different genres. It might like sound folky, or it might sound very popish. It might sound really like worship culture, or it might sound really like gospel. But whatever it is, like all of it coming together makes this amazing like sandwich of different things adding together, and it's good. Like it's good to my soul. Like the way it feels, it's like this feels good, even though that was a very like churchy like chord right here. I feel this very CCM chord over here, or I feel this very like folky vibe in this section of the song. But it all makes this amazing like body of art, and it's just good to my soul, man. So
Yeah,
I
yeah, that's good.
love that.
That's good. I think saying it like it's gumbo is a really good way to think about it. Never
Mm-hmm.
thought about that, but that's true. That's true. It's a nice, and you can tell in the music because it doesn't
Yeah,
all sound the same.
yeah.
Um, and yeah, it's been fun to just get to know the music some and listen and find the diversity refreshing.
It's
Um,
so different. You got songs
yeah,
like Promises that's very like 6/8 and just like very worshipful. But then you have songs like Come On In, Take a Seat, I made room for you and me. Never leave. Oh Jesus, stay with me. Like it's just it
yeah,
just feels
yeah,
good. It's all
yeah,
like loving on Jesus. Oh man,
yeah.
it's amazing. It's an amazing, like I said, pot of gumbo.
What else you want to sing for us, man?
No,
I
no, no.
love hearing
But
you sing. A great voice. Um, it's been fun, and I'm looking forward to more albums coming out, and I'm looking forward to benefiting from you guys. Hopefully, I can jump into some more songwriting
oh,
camps with
please
you
do
all.
it. Let's do it.
What thoughts would you have for songwriters? Like, maybe there's someone listening to this that's thinking through, hey, I write songs, but how should I approach songwriting? Maybe even someone that's more of an accomplished songwriter that would love to get involved with Maverick City. What direction would you point people in? Let's do this. Give me one thing that you tell a new songwriter to do. So one thing that from
Hmm.
your experience, like, this is the best thing that I think you can do as a songwriter. And two, how could people get involved in Maverick City music if they're wanting to think through songwriting and benefit from you guys?
For a new songwriter, I would say be a student of the craft. I would say study songs, not just the songs that you write, but all different styles. Study rock songs, like the way that they're structured, the way that they're written, like the word choices. Study pop songs, study R&B songs, country, folk, reggae, Afrobeat. Study CCM, gospel. Like study the different facets of music, all of the different genres, so that you have like I said earlier, building a well of content, because then you'll have a good solid well to draw from in any song that you get, and any like let it like be a student of the craft. I would say always be a student. As a songwriter, always be a student. As a worship leader, always be a student. Always be willing to be teachable and willing to learn. If you see something or you feel something different, like celebrate it and like ask questions like, well, what is this and how does that work and why does it go this way? What's the difference between pop and R&B? What's the difference between the CCM culture and the gospel culture? What's the difference between this, that, and the third? And learn how to celebrate each individual genre. That's what I would give a new songwriter, studying lyrics, studying the structure and all that. For people that wanted to get involved in Maverick City, man, I would say reach out to Tony Brown. I would say join a lot of the camps. I mean, they're open to anybody when you can all sign up. Once you're in the culture, you're in the culture. So like, and it's open to anybody that wants to join. So I think, reach out to one of the people that you see in Maverick City and ask them. We can all point you in the same direction. So I'll say you can reach out to Tony, reach out to myself, reach out to anybody that's already in the Mav camp, and we'll navigate you and point you in the right direction. Yeah, man, it's open to anybody.
Yeah, that's good. I found for anybody listening from Anchor Church, Joel was super encouraging for me. So at the camp, just really encouraging, and I found it to be an easy group of people to jump into, and because everybody's welcoming, if everybody's humble, so even jumping into songwriting groups, like people are eager to just write a good song, and that if it's their idea, great. If it's not, great. Like, let's just write something good. So thank you for being encouraging to me. I know I wrote you a note saying that afterwards, but it was super encouraging, man. So thank you for doing that. How can we hear more from you, man? Where can we find you online? Where can we listen to more music from you?
I'm on Instagram at IamJoe_L. I'm on Facebook with Joe _L Barnes. I have content that is out with Eddie James and with Dante and stuff, so you can find that stuff on YouTube. I am working on the album right now, so hopefully soon I'll at least drop a single, if not an entire EP, like sooner or later. So we'll have more content coming out very soon. So we're just waiting on the wind, waiting on the whisper.
Good, man. Well, I appreciate you jumping in with us. Thank you for being a part of this podcast. It really is a way to serve us, and you have. So thank you for doing that. Thank you for writing the songs that point our eyes to Jesus, and and then can just continue to help us to push forward that way. So I'm grateful for you, man.
Thank you. I love you, man. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, man. So this is the third installment of the Outside Our Walls podcast. Please listen, check out the other ones that we have. We're eager to continue to press forward, to move forward. Everybody else, we'll talk to you hopefully next time, and have a great day. See ya.